You can trace the history of the Yorkshire Building Society Group right back to, believe it or not, 1864, which is the start pretty much of the building society movement in the UK. And since then, we now trade under 6 different brands due to a fair bit of merger and acquisition activity recently. We're primarily in retail, financial services, savings and loans. We've got over 3.7 million customers that we service through about 230 odd branches and 4 call centres, all based in the UK. Merger and acquisition activity brings with it a lot of legacy and historical data from the organisations that you've merged with. So far we've managed to consolidate the bulk of our operational systems, but this still leaves you with all this data that you've merged into them, consolidated, which has been captured to various levels of quality and to data standards over the years in these other organisations. Strategically, as we're carrying on growing and moving forwards, we wanted to do 2 things. The first is put a solid, reliable data foundation layer in place that gives us a single version of the truth across all the brands. And then on top of that, plug in a whole set of new and more sophisticated financial management, risk management, business insight and decisioning tools and models that will help us stay competitive as we move forward in the future. There are 2 ways that I guess any organisation can tackle that. One is to cherry pick solutions from a whole set of different suppliers and then try and stitch them all together and make them work, which is certainly a viable solution, but can prove to be difficult and expensive. Or you go with an integrated solution from one vendor. We were definitely in the latter camp and chose to work, in fact, with Oracle for that integrated solution. So taking the logical data model from the Oracle Financial Services offering and then building the unified set of tools for risk and finance on top of that to give us this sort of integrated solution. Ultimately what that means is our decision making will be more robust and more reliable with less effort, and people who we're paying to be data analysts and provide business insight can spend all their valuable time interpreting the data rather than just cleansing it and manipulating it before they then go on to draw their conclusions from it. So this is a whole set of new modern tooling to help us automate those sorts of processes, all built starting on the Oracle data model and this data foundation layer, then bolting on new analytics and tools, again from the Oracle product range first and foremost, and then getting our analysts using those and doing away with their internally built spreadsheets, which have served them very well without a doubt, but we can move to something that's much more sophisticated and will take us forward into the future. We expect to see a number of improvements across our business over the next few years by taking this approach. The first is really an enabler, and that's allowing our finance and risk teams to consolidate their business processes around a single business operating model and removing their old siloed legacy applications and spreadsheets in favour of a modern tool set underpinned by the new data foundation layer and data model. And then taking their analytics and modelling and embedding that in our operational processes as well. So we've sort of closed a virtuous circle on risk and finance and operations. This in turn should allow us to improve our profitability, our margin management and our risk management. We'll get greater transparency of our cost base, and will definitely improve the effectiveness of the way in which we use our regulatory capital. All of which really, in a nutshell, is leading us to maintain a sustainable financial performance as we continue to grow on our strategic plan over the next few years, and also allows us to maintain real financial security for all our customers and members of the organisation through a whole new improved set of tools and practices and analytics.